Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina ve Habibina ve tabi kulubina ve şefi zunubina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve ashabihi ve etba'ihi ve ihvanihi minel enbiya vel murselin ecmain. Radıyallahu anna ve ankum ve an kâfetil müminin. This is letter 8, which is titled Medarul Emri alal Kalb. So everything hinges around the heart. قال رضي الله عنه أيضا في مكتوبه إلى الشيخ محمد الجتري في بيان أن مدار الأمر على القلب. So Imam Rabbani wrote this letter to Shaykh Muhammad al-Jatri radiyallahu anhum rahimahumullah, and it explains that everything hinges around the heart. Heart is the center of everything. رزقنا الله سبحانه الإعراض عما سواه. May Allah bless us by turning away from everything other than Him. ما سواه. Things other than Allah are called ما سواه. ما سوى الله. So may Allah bless us with turning away our hearts from anything, anyone other than Allah Ta'ala. This i'rad wal-iqbal ala janab qudsihi, and orienting ourselves to His glory, to Him. So turning away, from things other than Allah Ta'ala, and turning to Allah Ta'ala. Al-iqbal, al-i'rad and iqbal. بحرمة سيد البشر, and for the sake of سيد البشر عليه السلام. So he's not saying, because of our efforts, or because of our struggle, because of our knowledge, because of our intelligence. No, because of حرمة سيد البشر. And for his sake, who are we, to deserve something like this? Who are we to ask for something like this? We can get it only for the sake of the messenger we are following. Otherwise, we are worthless. We don't deserve. We are not qualified. Our work is not enough, to get it. But we can get it, for the sake of the messenger, the Rasul we believe in and follow. So this humility, I cannot go and ask myself. I'm not qualified for it, but I ask using His name. Al-Muharrar an Zayg al-Basar. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is freed from a slip of eye. Zayg al-Basar means slip of eye. Like this is Zayg al-Basar. Zayg means sleeping, and Zayg al-Basar, just like, for a second, like his heart was continuously turned to Allah Ta'ala without any slip to anything else. This is iqbal. Al-iqbal al-tam al-kamil al-daim. Continuous and complete orientation of the heart to Allah Ta'ala. So it's full concentration. So he was never disconnected from Allah Ta'ala, even for a glimpse of an eye. زيغ البصر. عليه وعلى آله الصلوات والتسليمات. اعلم أن مدار الأمر على القلب، فإن كان القلب مفتونا ومتعلقا بغير الحق فذلك القلب خراب وأبتار. So everything revolves around the heart, but if the heart is maftun, attached in love, and muta'alliq, linked attached بغير الحق, to something other than Allah Ta'ala, فذلك القلب خراب وأبتر. This qalb is خراب, distracted, destroyed, and abtar, sterile, wouldn't produce anything. Nothing good will come out of this heart if the heart is attached to something other than Allah Ta'ala. It will not produce anything. Nothing good will come out of it. ولا يحصل شيء من مجرد الأعمال السورية والعبادات الرسومية. So how about like good deeds you are physically doing? And he says they don't count. They don't count. So this formal good deeds and ceremonial worships, al-ibadat al-rusumiyya, that means ceremonial, ritual worships and formal good deeds alone, they will not benefit. They will not bring about anything. ولا بد من كل من سلامة القلب. So everything needs سلامة القلب. Healthy heart. Healthy heart. A healthy heart is the one which turns to Allah Ta'ala continuously. So this is the sign of healthy heart. من الالتفات إلى ما سواه تعالى. So the greatest illness of the heart is misorientation to things other than Allah Ta'ala. Because the heart is created to love Allah Ta'ala. That's the default programming. So corruption makes the heart turn to other things, and repair or treatment of the heart requires i'rad, turning away from all these masiwa and turning to Allah Ta'ala. And this is salamatul qalb, al-qalb salim. يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. So what's the meaning of qalb salim? Qalb salim is a heart attached to Allah Ta'ala, a heart oriented to Allah Ta'ala continuously. And what's the sign of an ill heart? A heart which is oriented and attached to the material world, to this temporary world, to animal desires, to things other than Allah Ta'ala. That's the sign of an ill heart. والأعمال الصالحة المتعلقة بالبدن التي أمر الشرع بفعلها. So one needs two things: salamatul qalb, al-a'mal as-salihah. So not only al-qalb, salamatul qalb is not enough. Salamatul qalb plus al-a'mal as-salihah al-muta'alliqa bil-badan. Okay, so healthy spirituality, but at the same time good deeds. Two things at the same time. التي أمر الشرع بفعلها, which the Sharia ordered to do. So you have to do those things. So sometimes some people say, "Oh, my heart is clean. This is what matters." They use this as an excuse not to do what the Sharia orders. And on the other hand, you have people focusing only on the external physical actions. They neglect the spiritual side of it. But Imam Rabbani says both are required. Okay, both are required. So you keep the balance. ودعوى سلامة القلب بدون إتيان الأعمال الصالحة باطلة. Any claim about having a healthy heart without fulfilling good deeds that Sharia requires, this is a false claim. Da'wa batila, false claim. You cannot have a healthy heart without fulfilling the practical orders of Sharia. But today, there are some people, they are after spirituality. They say, no, we don't like Sharia. We want spirituality. So that means this type of people existed at the time of Imam Rabbani as well. So they said, oh, we have Qalbi Salim. We don't need to do what the Sharia orders us to do. But opposite was also true at that time. And today we have the same thing, right? People have tendency to go to extremes. One, focusing on extreme spirituality, neglecting the physical actions. The other focusing on only the physical actions, this legalistic understanding of religion, zahir, and neglecting the batin. كما أن وجود الروح بلا بدن غير متصور في هذه النشأة. This is similar to thinking about a ruh, a soul without the body. Can ruh, soul exist without body in this world? No. In this world, the soul and the body must be together. And this is reflected in our understanding of our religion. So qalb salim must be together with أعمال صالحة البدنية. وحصول الأحوال القلبية من غير حصول الأعمال الصالحة القالبية محال. And rise of spiritual states without performing good deeds with the body. Al-qalb means body, the form. Muhal, it's impossible. It's impossible to have any authentic spiritual state, without practicing with your body the good deeds that you are required to do is impossible. وكثير من الملحدين يدعون هذه الدعوة في هذا الزمان. But there are a lot of mulhids, like heretics, making this claim, that they have high spirituality without practicing what the Sharia orders to them. So it is similar to our time. I saw some people, they say, oh, I'm Sufi, but not Muslim. Why? Why? Because Muslim means you have to do lots of things, like make salat, give zakat, etc. So they don't want to do this. They just want to get the, what's good in it. So like decaf cafe. Okay, I want to drink coffee, but I don't want the caffeine. So what's coffee without caffeine? Or like fat-free yogurt. Okay. Okay, so it's like a modern mentality. Like get the joy of it without like any burden, any responsibility of it. So you have to have it both. So they want the spirituality of Islam without Sharia. Okay, just to take away the Sharia, give me the spirituality of it. This is the modern or postmodern mentality. ونجانا الله سبحانه من معتقداتهم السيئة بحرمة حبيبه عليه الصلاة والسلام والتحية. So may Allah protect us from their false beliefs. Okay, تحصيل الإخلاص. So Imam Rabbani explained that there are three major components of Sharia: العلم والعمل والإخلاص. Okay, so thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan. So how are we going to gain ikhlas? And he said that الحقيقة والطريقة خادمتان للشريعة في تحصيل الإخلاص. Right? So how do we gain ikhlas? And this is very very important, for every Muslim. قال رضي الله عنه أيضا في مكتوبه إلى الشيخ محمد الجتري في بيان تحصيل الإخلاص. So Imam Rabbani marhum wrote this letter to Shaykh Muhammad al-Jatri explaining how you acquire ikhlas, purity of intention. نحمده ونصلي على نبيه ونسلم. أيها المختوم. See, he is writing to his student and calling his student مختوم. ما معنى مختوم? The one who served. The one who served. So the teacher is khadim, student is makhtum. So the teacher is in the service of the students, serving. Like we are serving you. We were in a meeting and there was dinner. We left the dinner so that you can come here. So we are your servants. But this is a great honor. Serving human beings, the best of the creation, and introducing them Allah Ta'ala and how they become good human beings. Khidmatul Bashar, so this is a great honor. So we are honored by serving other human beings, in particular Tulab al-Ilm. But the word makhtum is also used for the teacher. Teacher is also makhtum, and student is khadim. It's used both ways. And children are also called makhtum. Like my father, when he introduced me, he used to say, "This is my makhtum. This is my makhtum." Because parents are serving the children, right? And there is an expression, makhtum kulu. Makhtum kulu means, servant of the makhtum. That means servant of the scholar, servant of the sheikh. And when you say, like you want to say you studied with a particular teacher, you say, I have been in his service for X number of years. أنا كنت في خدمته. For this amount of years, because while the best way for you to learn is to serve. While serving, you learn better, because religion is not just academic thing. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not a professor, he was not like a mudarris, he was a prophet, right? Nabi, Rasul. Sometimes people confuse. They think like he was like a professor, or he was like a philosopher like Plato, Kant. No, he was not like that. Nor was he like a head of the president or something. He was Rasul, Nabi, and he taught his ashab. This was transfer of the hal. He transferred his hal to his students, and basically education is transfer of hal transfer. From the sheikh to the students, from the teacher to the disciple, hal transfer. And this happens through the sohbah, through the khidmah, and also love. Between teacher and the students, there should be love, there should be sohbah, and there should be khidmah. If these things are there, then hal is transferred from the teacher to the student. Otherwise, if like either side doesn't like the other one, if there is no mutual love, finished. Nothing is going to happen. If the student doesn't respect and serve the teacher, and if they don't spend time together, if there is no sohbet, then nothing will happen at the end. So these three important elements are prerequisites for the hal transfer, from the sheikh to the student. Otherwise, nothing will happen, because religion is not an academic subject. It is not like physics, chemistry. Like you may hate your teacher in high school or in the university, but you still learn the subject from him. But Islam is not like this. Religion is not like that. أيها المخدوم قد صار معلوما لي بعد طي منازل السلوك وقطع مقامات الجذبة أن المقصود من هذا السير والسلوك تحصيل مقام الإخلاص. He said, oh my dear students, it became clear for me after going through all stations of the spiritual journey and passing by all these stations of jazba, getting closer to Allah Ta'ala, that the ultimate purpose from this spiritual journey, as-sayr wa suluk, tahsilu maqam al-ikhlas, acquiring the state of ikhlas, purity of intentions. That's the ultimate goal. But this became evident for me after completing my journey. المربوط حصوله بفناء الآلهة الآفاقية والأنفسية. But it depends on removing away inner and outer false gods. Emancipation from inner and outer false gods. So if you have this, then you may have ikhlas. Because what corrupts ikhlas is your attachment, to these false gods. Like if one is attached to money and turn money into God, he cannot have pure intention of doing things for Allah, because his love for money will always corrupt his intention, right? So if one loves popularity, so his desire to be popular will always corrupt his intention, to do things for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. So, but once these al-aliha al-anfusiyya, the inner gods, are destroyed and removed, from the heart, and if one is not attached to anything other than Allah Ta'ala in his heart, then ikhlas becomes possible. So that's the prerequisite for al-ikhlas. وهذا الإخلاص جزء من أجزاء الشريعة. And ikhlas is a component of Sharia. فإن الشريعة ثلاثة أجزاء, because Sharia has two components, العلم والعمل والإخلاص. Okay, so without knowledge you cannot practice Sharia, and without amal there is no Sharia, and without ikhlas there is no Sharia. You must have these three components at place. فالطريقة والحقيقة خادمتان للشريعة في تكميل جزء الإخلاص. So the tariqat and the haqiqat, these are servants of Sharia in perfecting ikhlas. وهذا هو حقيقة الأمر. That's the essence of the issue. Okay? ولكن لا يدرك فهم كل أحد ذلك. But not everyone can understand this, that ikhlas is the essence of everything. وأكثر خلق العالم قد اطمأنوا بالمنام والخيال. Most people, yeah, they are content with sleep and with imagination. So by sleep he means like with dreams. People have some dreams, and they become very happy if they have a good dream. They think they became wali, because they have like nice dream. Okay. And Imam Rabbani says this is not the essence of the thing. Those dream or khayal, this imagination. So most people, he says, they are happy, with those dreams, yeah, and with their imagination. واكتفوا بالجوز والموز, and they are content with walnuts and bananas. Like these are things you give to children to make them happy, because at that time there were no chocolates, no ice cream. They were, they were not developed as you are, no junk food, so just walnuts and the moose, the bananas. So basically he's saying these are for the beginners, like these dreams, these things that they have imagined. These are like for the beginners, similar to the way like you make children happy by giving them a banana, by giving them a walnut. فماذا يدركون من كمالات الشريعة? So what would they understand from the perfections of religion? أَنَّا يصلون إلى حقيقة الطريقة والحقيقة. How can they reach to the truth of tariqat and haqiqat? They wouldn't be able to do that. فيزعمون الشريعة قشرا. They think shariat is the shell. Law is the shell. This is how they think and argue. So today also we have people, right? They make the same claim. والحقيقة لبا, and they say, حقيقة is the lub, the core, the cream. لا يدرون ما حقيقة المعاملة, but they don't understand what's the truth of the issue. بل يغترون بالترهات الصوفية, but they are deceived with the nonsense talk of the Sufis. ويفتتنون بالأحوال والمقامات السفلية, and they are so how should I say, lured. They are so lured, by lower level states, so like they reach to a lower level state, and they are so happy with it, and also they hear some speeches by the Sufis, or they read some Sufi books, and they are deceived by those books. So like I see some people, they like read some Sufi books about Fana, Baqa, Wahdat al-Wujud, and then he starts speaking about them as if he experienced those things. I mean, like reading those things in the books is not going to make you Fana or Baqa or Wahdat al-Wujud. You are just narrating those things from the books, and Tasawwuf is not an academic subject to study. Tasawwuf is al-hal, but so there are some Sufis, they have some nice talks, and this deceives people, and these type of Sufis are called Qutta'ut Tariq. What's the meaning of Qutta'ut Tariq? Yeah, highway robbers. they stop people. They cut their road. Let's say, there is a very talented student. If that student finds a good teacher, he will make real progress and become a great, scholar, a great wali of Allah. But someone, catches that student and holds him from making progress. Why? Because that teacher is not qualified, to educate that student and to elevate his level. And the student is deceived by this teacher because he thinks, oh, this is a very good man. He's going to educate me, lead me, guide me, and elevate me to the level of a scholar. But nothing happens. Years pass, nothing happens. See what I mean? So this is naqis sheikh, naqis sheikh, or kamil but not mukammil. Kamil but not mukammil. Like he's a good man, but doesn't know how to educate others. So becoming a mukammil is another level. So you may have healthy psychology, but you cannot treat other people's psychological problems. Knowing how to treat other people's psychological problems is another level. You have a degree for it. You see what I mean? So if I see, oh, this guy has a very healthy psychology, he's going to make him also a healthy psychology. No. I mean, you can be healthy yourself, but if you are not a doctor, you cannot make other people's healthy. You need a degree in medicine to be able to make other people's also healthy. So this is kamil, but not mukammil. Okay? In order to become mukammil, you have to study, you have to have a license, to make psychological therapy, or a medical degree to be a medical doctor. Otherwise, simply being healthy doesn't make you qualified to make other people also healthy. Same in Islam. So if someone is kamil, like very good man, this doesn't automatically make him mukammil at the same time. And also this يفتتون بالأحوال والمقامات السفلية. This was very important, because some people, they have one dream, one nice good dream. They think they reached very high level of velayat. See what I mean? So they are deceived by these things. So that's why, in the Naqshbandi tariqat, no value is attached to dreams or karamat. They say one istiqamat is better than 1,000 karamat. One istiqamat is better than 1,000 karamat. What's the meaning of istiqamat? Practicing a sunnah. If someone practices a sunnah, this is the real karamat. What's the meaning of karamat? Karamat means is a gift from Allah, is a blessing from Allah, and the blessing from Allah manifests itself in different ways. So if this person, practicing a sunnah, that means he has a gift from Allah. Allah gave him the gift of practicing the sunnah. So this is what we care, not the karamat. So they asked Shah Naqshband, Baha'ullah, rahmatullah alayh, they said, show us a kiramet. He stood up, took 2 steps, and then came back and said. They were so surprised. He said, nothing is more miraculous than me standing up, walking, coming back to the same place and sitting. But we are so saturated, so accustomed. We don't realize how miraculous is this. There are people who cannot stand up. There are people who cannot walk. There are people because they have no memory, they don't know how to go back where they were. Like if you take all these things into account, you realize how big it is. Like our life is miraculous. Like being born, coming to this world, like everything we do, it's miraculous. So what kind of miracle you want more than this? See what I mean? And also, looking for a miracle in the Shaykh is su adab. First. Second, not knowing what you are after. Like the author of this book used to say, sometimes people come to me and they are looking for karamat. And I realize that they don't know what they are after. And I tell them to go to another Shaykh. Because they don't know what they are after. Did you come to Sirk, to see some, super, extraordinary activity to enjoy, to be impressed, or you are searching a teacher who can teach you how to become a good servant of Allah Ta'ala, how to practice Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay. Let's read another letter. الطريقة والحقيقة متممتان للشريعة. So طريقة and حقيقة, they complement the Sharia. قال رضي الله عنه في مكتوب إلى الشيخ درويش في بيان أن الطريقة والحقيقة متممتان للشريعة. So Imam Rabbani rahmatullahi wrote this letter to Shaykh Darwish, explaining to him that tariqat and haqiqat complement the Sharia. رزقنا الله التحلي والتزين بمتابعة السنة السنية المصطفوية على صاحبها الصلاة والسلام والتحية. So may Allah bless us with ornamentation or illumination by following Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. So people try to look nice, they try to ornament themselves, so that they look nice, so but the best ornamentation is التحلي والتزين بمتابعة رسول الله, following the sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. But awam, they are after like buying nice clothing, expensive jewelry, etc. They think this is like the nice tahalli and tazayyun. But the best tahalli and tazayyun is following the sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. Zahiran wa batinan. But this mutaba'at must be at two levels, zahir and batin, physically and spiritually, with your body and with your heart at the same time. Because the actions of Rasulullah was not only physical. Actually, those physical actions originated from a state of the heart. So al-a'mal al-qalbiyya are as-sunnah al-nabawiyya al-qalbiyya. There is sunnah qalbiyya, like iman, ikhlas, loving people around you. These are all sunnah qalbiyya. These are in actions in the heart, right? But then there are like physical actions as well. Like washing your hands before and after eating your food, keeping your teeth clean, keeping your dress clean, combing your hair. These are all sunnah fi'liya, badaniya. But then there are sunnah qalbiyya. But today, unfortunately, there is exclusive focus on sunnah fi'liya badaniya, and we neglect this sunnah qalbiyya. And sometimes we are not even aware that there is sunnah qalbiyya. So our religion has zahir and batin. Sunnah has zahir and batin, and we have to work on both sides equally. So this متابعة السنة السنية ظاهرا وباطنا بحرمة النبي وآله الأمجاد وعليهم الصلاة والتسليمات. الباطن متمم للظاهر. Batin complements the zahir. Okay, so the inner dimension complements the outer dimension. ومكمل له, and it perfects it. Okay, so the inner dimension perfects the outer dimension. لا مخالفة بينهما, and there is no inconsistency, there is no conflict between zahir and batin, inner and outer. مقدار شعرة, zero conflict, zero inconsistency between the two. مثلا عدم التكلم بالكذب شريعة ونفي الكذب عن الخاطر طريقة وحقيقة. For instance, not to physically speak lying, not to say a lie with your tongue, this is sharia. But removing any idea of lying from your heart, this is tariqat and haqiqat. Okay, not to lie is sharia, but not to even think about lie, eliminating from your heart even the possibility of lying, that's tariqat and haqiqat. فإن ذلك النفي لو كان بالتعمل والتكلف فتريقة. So if this removal of the idea of lying from the heart is through ta'ammul and takalluf, by forcing yourself, by struggling. So like inside your heart, let's say there's a conflict. One voice says, lie. It will make things easy for you. Okay? And the other voice says, no, don't lie. And eventually you don't lie. This is tariqat. So there is struggle going on. But eventually good side triumphs over the other one. But this is a transitional state. وَإِلَّا حَقِيقَةٌ. But if there is no conflict between lying and not lying is the default. Even the idea of lying does not occur in the heart, that's haqiqat. That's a higher spirituality. That's a higher akhlaq. The first one requires some struggle, because there is still the idea of doing the evil thing, but in the haqiqat level, even the idea of doing something wrong or evil does not even come to your mind, completely eliminated. فكان الباطن الذي هو الطريقة والحقيقة متمما ومكملا في الحقيقة للظاهر الذي هو الشريعة. So after you understand the meaning of tariqat and haqiqat and its relationship to shariat, you realize that tariqat and haqiqat, they complement, they perfect the zahir, the outer dimension. So if you know these three things, not lying is sharia, not lying, not even or making the sight of not lying triumphant in your heart after a struggle, that's tariqat. This is the transitional stage, but not removing away from your heart even the idea or possibility of lying. That's the haqiqat. So this makes it clear how tariqat and haqiqat complements the shariat. فإن ظهر لسالكي سبل الطريقة والحقيقة في أثناء طريقهم أمور مخالفة لظاهر الشريعة وأظهروا ذلك فهو مبني على سكر الوقت وغلبة الحال. So during the spiritual journey, if some Sufis, they make some actions or say things that are inconsistent with Sharia, this is because of their spiritual drunkenness at that time, or ghalabatul hal, or it's because the spiritual state overwhelms on them. It's overwhelming on them. So they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're saying. So that's sakr or ghalaba. فإن جاوزوا ذلك المقام وخرجوا من مضيق السكر إلى فضاء السحف ترتفع ذلك المنافات بالكلية. So when they pass by that stage of drunkenness from the spiritual experience, so they leave this thing beyond. Okay, it's not constant. It is temporary, because they are under the influence of this spiritual state. So that's the difference between a kafir, or someone who says something incompatible or does something incompatible with Sharia. And this is called shatahat. The concept for it is shatahat. Sometimes they say things that are not good, that are not consistent with Sharia, but after they wake up, they say, no, this is wrong. What I said is wrong. Don't take it serious. وتكون تلك العلوم المتضادة هباء منثورا, and they disappear, because they reject. After they come back to their senses and get out of this very powerful spiritual state, they don't say things like that. But the shatahat come from people who are at lower levels. Like a true awliya at higher levels, they never say shatahat. But in the common perception, people think those who uttered shatahat as if they are like higher level awliya. No, the higher level awliya never say shatahat. Everything they say and do is always compatible with Sharia. Yes, inshallah we stop here. Radiyallahu anna wa ankum wa an kafatil mu'minin.